So it's hunting season, the rut is coming up, I'm really excited about it, but I want to give you a couple reasons that I'm actually just as excited about hunting does, female deer, as I am about the big buck. Everybody's chasing the big buck and going after those big bucks so you can rack mount it. I would love that just as much as the next guy. In fact, my wife's like, dude, you gotta get a big, shout out to my wife, this is actually pretty cool. She said this. She's like, you gotta get that big buck so we can hang it out. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. But I'm not chasing after it because my main goal with hunting is like food for my family. We actually feed my dog a lot of venison, but we eat a lot of venison. I'm after food. And there's a couple of reasons why actually hunting does is better for that than bucks. The main reason is gaminess. If you're hunting after that big buck, that means it's an older buck, which means that the meat is a little older, it's a little more it can be a little more tough, it can be a little bit more gamey, especially in the rut season. So if you're not familiar with what the rut is the mating season for deer. It happens typically in November, December. That's actually why most people love hunting in the rut, is because the bucks are in heat. They really want to mate. And what that means is they are so focused on mating that they make dumb decisions that they would never do outside of the season. And that's why most people like hunting, is because you can get a good opportunity on a buck that you might not have ever had in the rest of the season. They'll go out in broad daylight. They just get so locked on that female that they make bad decisions. It's not that much different than humans sometimes, that they make bad decisions when they're going after, when they're excited about a girl. When they're in that season, they have a ton of testosterone pumping through their body, and that testosterone can make the meat taste a little more gamey. So there's gaminess. The second reason is population. There's a lot more does than there are than bucks. You see them all. I don't know if that's scientifically proven. I just see a lot more does. So if I'm hunting that big buck, I'm gonna pass on all these does, like that seems silly to me, to be honest with you. Secondly, or thirdly, I guess, is population control. Here on Long Island, we have an actual deer problem. Like, there are so many deer. In fact, it's becoming a hazard with ticks, with people driving into them and hitting them, with property damage. For me as a hunter, that's great. Honestly, I like the overpopulation of deer. But that being said, it can actually lead to smaller deer, which is just an interesting thing because there's less food. But that's not the point. The point is population control. If you are trying to control the population, you actually want to hunt the does because they're the ones that reproduce into the next generation. So if you're trying to slow the population growth, hunting does is a great way to do that. So that being said, and if you hunt those earlier in the season, I saw this from another video, this is a cool thing. If you hunt those in the earlier season, if there's too many does as the rut comes in, the buck's gonna have too many options. If you really want that buck in the winter, hunt does in the early spring, and in the early fall, and it'll increase your chances of the buck locking on one doe because there's less options for them. So those are a couple reasons that I'm just as excited about hunting does as I am about hunting bucks.